The following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everyone, this is the TFN Geek, and I forgot to, I had to step away from my laptop computer for a moment, and I forgot to plug it in, so the battery ran out, so unintentionally this has now become a two-part video. So in part one I unboxed it, so I changed the video title for it, and so for here, part two, we're going to take a look at, really fast, at the Transformers 1 Optimus Prime and Megatron in their robot and alt mode. So here they are with all their accessory pieces attached. The tank cannon forms a backpack for the tank. Tank turret for Megatron forms a backpack, while the barrel of the tank becomes his fusion cannon. It's somewhat small, all of which is somewhat accurate to its appearance after Optimus Prime sliced the other two barrels off of it. I've seen an upgrade kit where you can get a slightly more screen accurate fusion cannon for Studio Series Megatron, so now that I have it in hand and I see how small his fusion cannon is, I may contemplate on actually getting it. And here of course, is Studio Series Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is slightly bulkier than Megatron is, and that kind of stinks because I kind of wish Megatron had been slightly bulkier than Optimus Prime is. I've always liked the idea of Megatron being bigger than Optimus Prime, but in more recent years they've tried to make Megatron look skeletal to try and make him look more monstrous, and I personally don't think that's a good design choice for Megatron. I like when he's muscular and he's large and intimidating versus skinny and skeletal. Oh, but that's just my own opinion. But yeah, here they are next to each other. That's one of the reasons why another reason why a lot of collectors have gone for the mainline Transformers 1 Optimus Prime figure. It's smaller than the Studio Series Prime figure, so it is size accurate, standing opposite Megatron here. But here they are with their accessory pieces in hand. Optimus Prime has his Energon axe. I kind of wish they would have given him his Ion Blaster, but I guess they decided, since he used the axe most often when he was fighting Megatron, it was a more appropriate weapon to use. You know, give Optimus Prime a melee weapon while Megatron has the actual firearms. So overall, for what they are, going for screen accuracy to the Transformers 1 film, yeah, I think they do believe they nailed it. I just wish they would have used silvery gray plastic for Optimus Prime instead of the brown beige plastic on him. And just like every other copy of this figure that exists, his pelvis, it did snap off the moment I took him out of the box, so that's really troublesome to know that, how flimsy that is. And the storage space for the for the double barrel cannons that sit on the front bumper is here on the inside of the backpack. So yeah, I think Optimus Prime definitely could have been designed better, and I wish Megatron would have just been a little bit bigger. If they had done him in leader class size or even Voyager instead of Deluxe, I think that would have made for a decent Megatron figure. So I apologize, I didn't really plan on bringing out any figures for size comparisons, but if I can hold them with one hand just really fast for a quick size comparison. Here they are next to the main villain of Transformers 1, Sentinel Prime, so yeah, fairly size accurate compared to each other. I won't go into articulation because it's pretty standard articulation for most Transformers action figures here on the Studio Series figures. Although one thing I did just notice is that Optimus Prime's thighs, they're actually done in red plastic and just have the beige, and they're just painted in that beige color. The lower arms are made out of the beige plastic, as I believe is Optimus Prime's waist, but his pelvis is paint. But yeah, like I said, the main reason I got Optimus Prime was because he was on clearance at my local Target store, and I wanted to have one version of Optimus Prime stand opposite TF1 Megatron, and that's been my mentality over the past few years when it comes to collecting Optimus Prime and Megatron toys. I like to buy a figure for both of them to have standing opposite each other, so I haven't really been I've tried to stay away from standalone Optimus Prime action figures, and as I said in part 1 of the video review, there have been so few Megatron action figures, I don't believe I actually have any standalone Megatron figures in my Transformers collection that don't have an opposing Optimus Prime figure standing opposite him. I've collected a handful of standalone Optimus Prime figures, starting with the Missing Link Optimus Prime figure that was released last year in 2024, which I already did a video review on for Missing Link Prime. And then, of course, there's the Transformers Legacy United Optimus Prime, which I got a few weeks later. And then, of course, there's the Transformers recently released Studio Series Gamer Edition Devastation Optimus Prime figure, although I do hope we get a Devastation Megatron eventually. But yeah, there they are one last time in robot mode, so let's get them transformed into alt mode and wrap up the review. Alright, and so here are the Transformers Studio Series TF1 Optimus Prime and Megatron transformed into their alt modes. Optimus Prime is a Cybertronian semi-truck, while Megatron is a Cybertronian tank. And the designs are okay. Like I said, these aren't the best versions of Optimus Prime or best action figures of Optimus Prime and Megatron, but as I said, they're the only action figures of... They're the physically largest, I should rather say, action figures of TF1 Optimus Prime and Megatron that are being released by Hasbro. In North American markets. I don't know if Takara Tomi's going to design any other Transformers 1 action figures, but yeah, in terms of screen accuracy, Megatron is fairly accurate to his appearance in the film. Optimus Prime is moderately accurate. Overall, for what the designers are going for, they're pretty okay action figures of Optimus Prime and Megatron based on their appearance in the Transformers 1 movie. One thing I will say, I do like that they have proper weapon storage for most of their weapons. Optimus Prime's axe stores here along the top of the truck bed, with the blade acting like a faux trailer hitch, the back side of the axe. And one thing I forgot to take out of the box originally was that Megatron has these two smaller cannon barrels here that sit on the sides of his tank turret, so you can give him cannons poking out of the back of his shoulders in robot mode if you want. I apologize for forgetting about those accessories. But yeah, accessories. In the product photos, I thought Megatron's tank cannon sat slightly taller than it actually does, but that's only because in the product photos they have it angled upward, showing that it's making an optical illusion that it's taller than it actually is, when it's actually like this. The tank cannon, and when you push it down all the way, it does angle downward slightly, so there's nothing to plug it into place. So there's a fear that over time that hinge will eventually no longer want to support the weight of the fusion cannon. It will give out. So that's a little disconcerting, earning that someday the hinge joint will age to the point that it won't support the weight of Megatron's fusion cannon anymore. There are upgrade kits, like I said, out there. There are upgrade kits that give you a larger fusion cannon for Megatron. So I'm contemplating right now if I should get the upgrade kit, and if I should maybe get a second copy of Studio Series Megatron so I could paint the head into make him D10, and the double barrel cannon here that was in Optimus Prime's backpack. You're supposed to plug it here onto the front of Optimus Prime, and with the smokestacks from his robot mode shoulders pointing on the front, it looks like Optimus Prime now has 4 cannons pointing at the front, so he's armed up and ready to fight Megatron when they meet on the battlefield in alt mode. I've seen some fans and collectors rotate the shoulder cannons backwards to make the front section of Optimus Prime's alt mode look a little flatter, and make the smokestacks look like a pair of rocket boosters for the sides of his vehicle mode. It's all personal preference. I wish that they would have found a way to, since Optimus Prime's robot mode shoulders don't transform into the top back section of the tractor cab, I kind of wish they would have molded some additional 5mm ports up here on these flat solid sections here of Optimus Prime, so that the smokestack could attack from the robot mode shoulder, and then it could just sit up here like that. I mean, I know that wasn't entirely screen accurate, but that's one of the defining features of Optimus Prime, is that he's a semi that, despite running on Energon, he has smokestacks sticking out of the top of his roof. But that's just my own personal preference. My main gripe with Optimus Prime is that because, as I said, the his robot mode thighs aren't beige plastic, it's beige paint over red plastic. The ball joints on Optimus Prime's hips, it doesn't want to make the legs rotate entirely properly, and the entire back section of Optimus Prime's alt mode is dependent on these ball and socket joints from his robot mode hips lining up properly to get him to stay transformed into vehicle mode. So yeah, that's, I think, a design flaw with that was a poor design choice on Optimus Prime and not Optimus Prime, Hasbro and Takara Tomi's part for Optimus Prime, making his robot mode hips different colored plastic and then painting over it because it added thickness to the ball joint, to the main set of ball and socket joints that the transformation is dependent on. But that's just my own nitpick with this mold. As far as rolling, Optimus Prime does roll on 4 tiny plastic wheels. He's got 2 red plastic wheels which aren't clipped on, they're actually pinned on by metal pins, so that's one thing that until recently had it actually not been seen on Transformers figures with wheels too often. Over the last several years, most Transformers action figures that have wheels for alt modes, they were just pegged on instead of pinned on. So that's nice to see that there. He also has 2 small wheels here on the back, but if you look closely at the wheels, they're made out of the same clear blue plastic that Optimus Prime's axe and the windshield for his truck mode are made out of, so there's a fear over time that those plastic wheels could end up disintegrating and integrating and end up falling off. But that's just a minor nitpick to take into consideration as the figure ages with time. Megatron, unfortunately, the way he transforms, where the tank treads end up folding into his arms and his lower legs, he doesn't actually have any wheels, so he doesn't roll around on anything, which is kind of a shame. I wish they would have found some way to incorporate wheels into it to make him actually roll around on a flat surface, but as it stands, he doesn't even roll, he just slides across, so yeah, there's no way of being able to move Megatron around. You have to use your imagination and have him rolling around everywhere. I apologize, I will not be bringing Sentinel Prime back out for an alt mode size comparison, but here they are next to each other, so for those of you who either passed on either one of these figures or both of them and you wanted to see what they look like next to each other, here they are. They're almost the same width. With Optimus Prime's double barrel cannons attached, they are about the same length. If you were to remove the double barrel cannons on the front, Megatron would stand just a tiny bit longer than Optimus Prime does, but with all the weapons attached, Optimus Prime does stand slightly longer, and overall, Optimus Prime is a slightly bulkier action figure than Megatron is. But as I said, over the past few years, Hasbro has, and this was seen with the Studio Series Gamer Edition Megatron figure that came out back in, I believe, 2023, I want to say, is when Gamer Edition Megatron was released. But the point I'm trying to get is that I've noticed over the past few years, Hasbro has tried to go for this idea of Megatron having a more skeletal design to try and make him look creepier and more monstrous, but I actually prefer having a more muscular designed Megatron and him being slightly bigger than Optimus Prime, because when you have Megatron smaller than Optimus Prime, the best comparison I can think of, it's almost like a He-Man fighting Skeletor, where the hero is slightly more muscular and the villain is slightly skinnier. I have watched He-Man, and I know that Skeletor, he's only skeletal with his face, but the point I'm trying to make is that by making Megatron skeletal and Optimus Prime remain muscular, you have it's almost like a bodybuilder fighting someone who's anorexic, and if they're doing it for the creep factor, they fail at it, and it just makes Megatron smaller than Optimus Prime. I've said it in past reviews, but when I was introduced to the Transformers franchise, it was during Transformers Armada, and in that series, Optimus Prime's primary robot mode was physically smaller than Megatron, so I've always liked the idea of Megatron being larger than Optimus Prime. Because when you have Megatron bigger than Optimus Prime, you basically have a David versus Goliath situation where the hero is physically smaller while the villain's physically larger, and you at first glance think that there's no way the hero could defeat the villain when the villain is physically bigger. So I always enjoy it doesn't happen too often, but I do enjoy when an action figure of Megatron is bigger than Optimus Prime is, and that's one reason why a lot of people have collected the mainline's Transformers 1 Deluxe Class Optimus Prime figure and have it standing opposite the Studio Series Megatron, because it is, even though it is a Deluxe Class figure like the Studio Series TF1 Optimus Prime, the mainline figure is a smaller size deluxe figure than this one is. So it is more size accurate compared to this big beefy TF1 Optimus Prime figure. But again, that's just my own minor gripe. So for the final word to end the video, before I keep babbling any further, I recommend getting both the Transformers Studio Series TF1 Deluxe Class Optimus Prime and Deluxe Class Megatron action figures. I definitely recommend getting the Studio Series Megatron action figure because this is the physically largest Transformers 1 Megatron action figure that is being released by Hasbro as of this video's recording during the month of April of 2025. Hasbro hasn't made any announcements on releasing any larger size class action figures based of TF1 Megatron, so it looks like he's destined to not get any Voyager or Leader class sized action figures, so this might end up being the physically largest Transformers 1 Megatron action figure out there, so I do highly recommend getting this figure. And Megatron did not get any action figures in the mainline Transformers 1 line of action figures, so this, I believe, is the only proper deluxe class sized Megatron action figure that's been released. The mainline figures Megatron did get in the Transformers 1 line were a tiny little 2.5 inch automatic flip change transforming arming figure, and then there was, of course, the repaint of the Transformers Bot Shots Megatron that was released in that 2-pack with Optimus Prime. But yeah, this is this is definitely the physically largest TF1 action figure of Megatron so I do highly recommend getting this figure. For the Studio Series TF1 Optimus Prime figure, I only recommend getting it if you find it like I did on clearance, but if not, then it is an easy pass. I will say this right now, this is probably one of my least favorite Optimus Prime action figures that I've added to my Transformers collection in recent years. Granted, in Transformers 1, the movie takes place in its entirety on planet Cybertron, so the Transformers don't necessarily have to be robots in disguise, but as most Transformers fans and collectors have pointed out, they aren't a fan of Optimus Prime's robot mode arms just sitting out here on the side, forming the side panels of Optimus Prime's vehicle mode. And that's the paradox that the designers at Hasbro and Takara Tomy are always having to deal with, is when you design a Transformers character whose alt mode is from planet Cybertron, it's not on planet Earth. Do you really have to make them be a robot in disguise if they aren't having to be one? And for me personally, I think the paradox can be answered by this simple fact. The Transformers, they're robots in disguise, not just because they're hiding out on Earth, but it's also because they're hiding from their enemies. I mean, if this Cybertronian truck were to be driving by casually on the surface of Cybertron, and some Decepticon scouts were to be patrolling, they would go, "Look, that looks like Optimus Prime! It is! Alert Megatron, we found Optimus Prime's location." So, yeah, I think even with Cybertronian designs, at least hiding the five main body parts that help a Transformer be a successful robot in disguise is if you hide the head, both hands, and both feet. So those are the 5 body parts that make a Transformer a robot in disguise. If the feet can fully transform into part of the alt mode, same thing with the hands, and then you can at least find a place for the head to hide away. Then it does help with it being a robot in disguise. And like I said, they don't have to be robots in disguise only after they arrive on Earth. They can still be robots in disguise on planet Cybertron by hiding their faction symbols and their faces when they transform, or when they're close to enemy lines, or they're infiltrating behind enemy lines. But yeah, they're just minor gripes and nitpicks that I have. So I highly recommend getting Megatron. Only recommend getting Optimus Prime. if you absolutely want to have him in your Transformers collection. So that's my final thoughts. Megatron, definitely a must-have. Optimus Prime, unfortunately, he's an easy pass. So that's my final thoughts on the Transformers Studio Series TF1 Optimus Prime and Megatron action figures. So thank you to all my friends and subscribers for your continued support. This has been part 2 of what was supposed to be a full part review. I apologize for it breaking into 2 parts. But hope you guys enjoyed both parts of the review. This has been the TFN Geek, and until next time, you guys, please remember to stay safe, stay healthy. Hopefully, I'll be able to get my next review out soon. And until next time, you guys, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.